Here's a game I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. A game that I was looking forward to all year, and since it's Halloween time, finally felt like it was a good time to talk about it. Carrion. Carrion is a reverse horror game developed by Phobia Game Studios and was published by the Chads over at Devolver. As the term reverse horror implies, instead of being chased and attacked by a monster, you play as the monster, stalking, attacking, scaring, and killing the workers in an underground facility. Think of Carrion like John Carpenter's The Thing, the game, but you play as the monster. I really like this game graphically. It's all sprite art, but everything is so stylized and detailed. The monster itself is just this amorphous mess, a huge mass of fleshy tentacles and teeth. It's easy to differentiate between different types of people, and the environments all look great. Gorgeously detailed backgrounds that really push what bit sprite graphics could look like. The animations in this game are great too, especially with how fluid the monster itself roams around throughout the facility. The gore is amazing as well, with chunks of enemies being thrown around, people getting ripped apart, blood covering the walls and floor and ceiling. The viscera left in the aftermath of your brutal attack is so satisfying. It just all looks and sounds really good, and displays the developers' attention for detail. The story in Carrion is minimal. Things are kept purposefully ambiguous. It literally comes down to, you're a monster that broke out of a lab and you are fucking shit up. Sweet, simple, and out of the way. There are some hints here and there that you get regarding your background and the background of the facility as you play, but story really isn't the focus of this game, which is fine by me because the gameplay is really fun. Carrion is really unique. I've never really played a game quite like it. The amorphous blob of a monster clings to the walls and climbs all over the place, shooting out tentacles everywhere, destroying everything in its path, eating scientists, and killing military guards. Controls actually do take a little bit of time to get used to. This isn't really a platformer, despite being portrayed in a 2D side-scroller-esque perspective. I tried playing it with both a mouse and keyboard and a controller, and found playing with a controller to be much more comfortable. It just felt more natural to me, and played almost like a twin-stick shooter with my left stick controlling the monster's movements, and the right stick controlling the tentacle for grabbing onto objects and people. In addition to moving and grabbing, there are a few unlockable abilities as well. New abilities are added as you find containers, which add to your body mass. These abilities include things like echolocation, the ability to shoot spikes from your body, turn invisible, and even mind control people. I found most of these abilities pretty useful, and use them all often while traversing the world and solving puzzles. A unique thing about Carrion is that the monster's size determines what abilities you can use. Your size can be manipulated by leaving biomasses in pools, picking up biomass from these carrion holes, or by taking damage and eating people. You will need to backtrack through certain levels once you get certain abilities, mainly the ones that destroy walls or remove these plugs to unlock other extra abilities. But the backtracking is mostly optional, and you can go through the main parts of the game without needing to backtrack to get these upgrades if you choose to. The main objective is to escape through different parts of the facility, requiring different abilities to flip switches, open doors and barriers, and evade enemies. There's actually a decent focus on sneaking in Carrion. Despite the monster's grotesque look, it's actually pretty fragile. Getting stuck trying to move away from a soldier, or getting caught on the wrong side of a soldier's energy shield, and you will end up dead in seconds. The mechs and flamethrowers are especially deadly. It often isn't smart to just charge into a room aggressively. Sometimes it's better to sneak in through a vent in the ground and pick off soldiers one by one. Or sometimes it's better to mind control somebody and use them to shoot everyone else in the room. I like that the game gives you different ways to enact your carnage. Whether it's lining your body with spikes and running through everybody, or grabbing somebody with a single tentacle and slamming them all over the room until they go limp. My favorite way to kill was to pick people up with a tentacle and drown them. It's a bit more difficult to pull off and requires a body of water nearby to pull it off, but holding them under until they stop struggling was just so satisfying. game isn't without its flaws though. I agree with the common complaint. Carrion needs some sort of map. Bringing up the backtracking again, there are 9 optional containment units which give buffs and abilities. There's a good chance you'll miss these on your first time through a level, so you need to backtrack through the entire world and levels to find them. But it's very easy to get lost in this game. I found myself going around in circles very often and found myself aimlessly moving around, not really sure where I was supposed to be going for a specific level. A simple map would have alleviated this issue, and I don't know how or what kind of map a monster that looks like this would use, so from a creative aspect I understand why they might not include the map, but still it would have helped me not get so lost getting from point A to point B. The other things I want to mention aren't so much flaws as they are things I would love to see expound upon for a potential future sequel. The first thing is customizable upgrades. It would be really cool to kind of curtail your own kind of monster, giving us the choice of making something more stealthy or more brute force. Maybe let us pick between skills that would make us faster, easier to control, enhanced invisibility, maybe thinner to fit in small crevices, and skills that would make more proficient in combat, maybe more spike attacks, more defense and health. The trade-off for a stealth ability would be making you weaker and more susceptible to damage, really encouraging your stealth play to avoid combat. And the more brute abilities, you lose the ability to avoid attacks, you're a bigger target, you can't sneak around as well, so you have to play more aggressively. I'm just spitballing, and these are just 2 ideas for abilities, but it'd be really cool to see an assortment of choosable upgrades to kind of create our own play styles. This would also encourage more gameplay experimentation with combat and stealth mechanics, as well as encourage repeat playthroughs so that we can play through with different skill combinations. The other thing I would have liked to see a little bit more in this game would be some sort of fear system. As it is now, the NPCs do react to you, they'll run away or scream in fear, but their behavior doesn't really change beyond that. And military NPCs don't really act differently at all other than readying their guns or shields. I would have liked to see more panic and erratic behavior based on how you engage encounters. Maybe just bursting into a room would send everyone running and screaming away in a panic like they do now, but sneaking around taking out enemies one by one would be more subtle, especially as it pertains to military units. Whereas you take out part of the unit, the survivors start to get more and more erratic in their behavior. Maybe they'll start to miss shots, or abandon their post as they see dead allies while patrolling. I don't know, again I'm just spitballing, but I feel like some sort of fear system would open the gameplay up even more, allowing a more enhanced level of strategy to be taken advantage of. I would have liked more of a reason to play with my food, instead of just gulping everyone down right away. Carrion is a great game. It's a lot of fun with a lot of really great and unique gameplay ideas. It's graphically impressive and really lives up to its name as a reverse horror game. Its flaws are minimal and high points left me wanting more. It's relatively short, you could finish it between 3 and 6 hours depending on if you shoot for 100% or if you get lost, but it's the perfect length for this kind of game. Carrion is definitely worth checking out. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel for more indie and horror game content. Thanks for watching.